Hi everyone, I'm Richard. I'm a developer and like most of you, I wasted so many hours building the same thing over and over. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Tiny APIs and microservices. You know the one, a webhook receive JSON, transform some data, maybe call another service, and then return JSON. The truth nobody really like to admit? 90% of API are exactly like that. Simple. Receive JSON, small processing, return JSON. And every single time it's the same routine. New repository, boilerplate code, secrets, deployment, monitoring. Suddenly, you burn hours on something that should take minutes. So then I got fed up. And I spent the last month building Quasar. What is Quasar? Quasar is a visual backend on an Affinite Canva. You drag blocks, connect them, write some real JavaScript, no fake, no code limitation, click once, and your workflow instantly become a production-ready REST APIs. Custom domains, API keys, logs, versioning, it's all there. No server, no Docker, no deployment hell. And that's just the start. Because Quasar also does something that I haven't really seen in other backend tools. It makes handling sensitive data and local resources a lot easier and safer. Today, I will show you two things. How Quasar speed up the development of those simple 90% APIs and how it will bring real hybrid execution to your backends. Let's dive in. Okay, let's get started. Assume that you already create an account. You land on this login screen. I will just log in quickly. And here we are, your Defo empty workspace when you first sign in, ready to build. First thing, we need a custom domain to expose APIs. I go to the account page, click on domain, create domain, and now we're gonna create a new domain. I call it demo. Now back to the workspace. So I right click to create a new block. I name it purchase enrichment. Set the block type to API endpoint and set logging. In the API endpoint configuration, I will set the domain we just created before and set the path to purchase enrich. You see this anonymous checkbox? It lets you call the endpoint without an API key. Great for testing. Normally you create keys in the domain settings, but for the demo I will check anonymous. Click create. So here's the full URL ready to call. I'll disable the get for now because we only need post in that case. So next we're gonna create a new block of type process. Name it enrich. Then pick a color. Okay, now the code. This script does three things. It filters purchases over 100 euros and Mastercard number. It also calls the FreeFrankfurter API to get the current euro to USD rate, then add the USD amount to each filtered purchases. Super simple, pure JavaScript script. I passed it in the code input, and just for fun, there is a console.log in there. Now connect the API endpoint to the process block. Okay, now time to test it. I already prepared a request to enrich endpoint with this JSON payload for purchases, different amounts, card numbers. Click send. And here's the response. As you can see, no server, no deployment, just drag code, publish, and it's live in minutes. Okay, now one more thing. Click logs on the API endpoint block. Look, full history, input payload, output result, and even my test log from the JavaScript code. Everything is tracked instantly. Okay, now what if? What if I want to run code remotely on my own machine? Things like processing sensitive data that should never leave my network, triggering local action, or even accessing resources that only exist locally, like the hardware, for example. Most of all, lock everything in the cloud. And that's fine for something, but when you need real control, especially with sensitive data or local resources, that's where Quasar change everything. Quasar gives you full control with secure hybrid execution. Let me show you exactly how it works. Okay, so I create a new block, name it remote execution, set the type to API endpoint, then set login. After that, I select my demo domain and set the endpoint path to remote execution. Check anonymous, then create. Okay, then I restrict a load method to post only. And after that, I recreate a new block. I name it process and set the type to signal R. Okay, now we connect the API endpoint block to the signal R block. Okay, now look at the configuration panel for the signal R block. Right here, Quasar gives you everything you need to get started. A download client button for a ready-to-run .NET template. This template already contains everything to connect to Quasar and execute blocks. Signal R client, authentication, logging, etc. All you have to do is to run it. Click Download Client, unzip, and I will open the project in my editor. Here we are, in executionhandler.cs file. This is where the magic happens. The execute method is called every time the signal R block receives a payload. By default, the template simply echoes back the input you send. Super simple. But for this demo, we're going to do something way more fun. I just fasted my custom method, run PowerShell script. This method takes the input message and run a local PowerShell script on my machine. The script does three things: show Windows notification with the message, create a text file in the desktop and open it in Notepad, then use text-to-speech to speak the message out loud. I replace the default echo behavior with a call to my new method that call PowerShell. Okay, now time to run it. First time only, it will ask for an onboarding code. So I go back to the signal R block config, click on generate onboarding code. It will create a secure one-time code valid for 15 minutes, as you can see there. I copy it, paste it into the console, hit enter. Okay, we are connected. It receives a refresh token and store it locally. From now on, every restart reconnect automatically, no code needed. Time for the magic. I already prepared a request to remote execution endpoint with this JSON payload containing a long message. Click send.
Hello from the cloud. This message was sent to my local Windows machine via QU4ZR remote execution. Watch the magic happen.
Okay, now back to the dashboard, and we're gonna check the logs. Look, everything is there. Request input, response, and even the log from the remote client. And if I click directly on the signal R block, I get the log filtered to just this remote execution. Secure, powerful, dead simple. And that's Quasar, a simple and powerful way to create APIs, fast, secure, and exactly where you need them. There's a generous free tier waiting for you, no credit card required, full access to all features including hybrid execution. So head to the link in the description, sign up and start building. Thanks for watching.